You are watching KVU 25 News Now at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I am Amaya Norman. The election is this Tuesday and political sign stealing has been an issue here locally. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting spoke to a homeowner who was the target of sign stealing a few nights ago to get more of details on that. Trenton.
Maya, thank you. The home of DeJuan Mary was the target of vandalism and theft just after 10 on Thursday night. You could see 3 people running with the sign in a video submitted by Mary to the station. Mary says the 4-foot by 8-foot sign cost about $300. The metal rebar holding up the large sign was bent, and there were visible signs of footprints on the sign itself after its recovery. Police caught up with one of the suspects, but the other 2 got away. Mary plans to press charges to the fullest extent for the damage done.
It's not right to come on someone's property and destroy something that doesn't belong to you. So they're going to have to learn the lesson either way. I hope it was worth it. I hope it was worth it. People left my stuff alone. Let me live my life the way that I want to live it. We wouldn't be at this crossroad.
Stealing or damaging political signs is a crime that can be prosecuted. The charges may also include criminal trespass for entering a private property. Amaya, back to you.
Thank you, Trenton. And that leads us to our viewer poll. We have typical difficulties right now. So the question is, this brings us to our viewer poll today. Do you have a political sign in your yard? 30% of you say yes and no. 70% of you say no. We want to hear from you. You come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. We'll have the latest results on that and more. As the holiday season approaches, the Sindrift Policy Department are having their second annual Sindrift PD Blue Santa. Starting Monday, November 4th, applications for this wonderful initiative will be available. The Blue Santa programs aim to bring holiday cheers to families in need within our community. You can pick up applications at 2 convenient locations. The police department located at 103 West Dallas, which is open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and at City Hall at 508 West Main Street, available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The deadline for the application is November 22nd at noon. If you have any questions, please call 361-785-2069. Now it's time to talk weather on this Saturday night. Let's check in with First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Trey Mining to see what your week will look like. Trey.
And good evening, Amaya. Good evening, everyone. A humid evening on the outside. Temperature not too bad. 74 degrees, 100% humidity. Wouldn't be surprised seeing a little bit of fog out there as you approach early tomorrow morning. Right now, temperature is in the 70s throughout the entire region, near 80 degrees along the immediate coast. With a tropical moisture coming in, feeding in that moisture content around here, and eventually leading to some rainfall chances sometime this coming up week, and maybe some cooler temperatures too. We'll talk about that coming up in the full forecast. Amaya.
Thank you, Trey. The University of Houston Victoria showcased Hispanic culture to the community with their Day of the Dead event on campus. This was the first year the university has hosted a Day of the Dead event for non-students. Last year was open only to students. It's featured vendors, food trucks, moderns, and traditional Latin music, as well as performance by local organizations. UHV hopes to show more of the cultural representatives on campus. The school has a 42% Hispanic population.
We're excited to bring people from the community to not only meet the campus, but also to meet our students. We are a Hispanic serving institution, so this also speaks to our opportunity to showcase some of the culture and traditions of our students.
We're more excited for more news coming for this, but thank you so much for that. Organizations hope that they'll be able to turn it onto an annual event on campus, and that more event will be hosted at the campus. Police in Harris County, Texas are investigating after a father was killed in his garage on a Halloween night. Police say neighbors reported seeing a man wearing a Michael Myers Halloween style mask about the time of the murder. It was also reported that the victim was also a person of interest in his estranged wife murder earlier this fall.
This garage on Hawks Nest Drive in northwest Harris County is where authorities say they found a man shot to death last night around 11 o'clock. Investigators say they got several calls, one from one of the victim's young daughters after hearing several shots. Family has identified the man as 38-year-old Eric Pate Jr. Authorities say several neighbors told them they saw a man in a mask walking down the sidewalk before hearing the shots. A neighbor's camera caught this 15 minutes before Precinct 4 deputies arrived.
We, 100% sure that this was that person that did it? No. But yes, they were stated that someone was wearing a Michael Myers Halloween mask. And that is our possible suspect that did commit this shooting.
Back on August 16th of this year, Carmen Peterson, Pate's estranged wife, was killed in her apartment off FM 1960. Authorities say he was a person of interest in his estranged wife's murder. In September, we spoke to Carmen's sisters who made the terrible discovery.
It was heartbreaking and devastating. Like, I never thought that, I would walk in on my sister, just laying in the bed, murdered.
With that many bullet wounds.
The sheriff's office tells us today the investigation into Carmen's murder is still open and active, and that detectives are working to figure out if there's any connection between these two cases. Meanwhile, Pate's mother tells us she's taking care of their 3 children, 10 and 12-year-old girls and a 2-year-old little boy, all while hoping for justice for both her son and for Carmen, who she says was like a daughter to her.
Milwaukee police are looking for the parent who instigators say attacked a special education teacher in front of her students earlier this week. One witness told officers the victim never retaliated against the suspect.
Friday, a Milwaukee police squad car sits outside Bruce Elementary School near 89th and Mill. And an officer walks inside, days after investigators say a disgruntled parent had assaulted a teacher. According to court documents, Tuesday at 8 in the morning, a special education teacher walked into her classroom, and 53-year-old Eddie Caldwell was already inside. The teacher says Caldwell, a parent of a student, threatened to beat her expletive, then pushed her against a wall and hit her in the head multiple times. According to the criminal complaint, that parent attacked the teacher here at Bruce Elementary School in front of her entire classroom. 5 adults, 29 students all watching. One tried to intervene, another entered the classroom, says Caldwell threatened them too. Right now, there's a warrant out for Caldwell's arrest. He did not answer the door Friday. Milwaukee police say they're still looking for him. We asked Milwaukee Public Schools how Caldwell gained access to the classroom. They did not answer that question, but gave us a statement that read in part, student safety remains our primary focus. In Milwaukee, Kendall Keys, WISN 12 News.
Those in hope of an extra hour of sleep, you are in luck. This weekend marks the end of daylight saving time. Don't forget to set your clocks back 1 hour on Sunday at 2 a.m. Enjoy that extra hour of sleep, and remember, short days are ahead. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick publicly debunked claims that voting machines in the state are changing the selection voters make. To read this full Texas Tribune article, visit our website, Crossroads Today. And grab your cell phones and scan this QR code. This is our quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. Watch us anytime, anywhere, and get breaking news alerts and vote in our viewer poll as well. Learn all about our ongoing contests right there on your app. You can also submit news, tips, and photos. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us coming up. U.S. workers set to boost pre-tax 401k contribution in 2025.
Here on the outside, by the time we get to midnight, temperatures in the mid-70s area-wide. Southerly winds over the Gulf of Mexico. Warm and humid, yes. What about rain chances this coming week? They are on the way. We'll talk about that coming up in your forecast.
With only 3 days until Election Day, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are racing to deliver their closing pitches to voters.
The race for the White House is now in its final sprint, and both candidates are taking their message to voters in battleground states.
And I pledge to you, if you give me the chance to fight on your behalf, there is nothing that will stand in my way as I fight for you.
She can't handle anything, but she's not equipped for that. She's not a president. She'll get overwhelmed, melt down, and millions of people will die.
With just 3 days until Election Day, polls show a tightening race. The latest national polling shows Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump deadlocked at 47%. And millions of Americans have already voted. More than 70 million votes have already been cast with early voting or mail-in ballots, including battleground Pennsylvania, where the Supreme Court left a state court ruling in place to expand options for voters whose mail-in ballots are rejected for technical reasons to have their votes counted. Pennsylvania is one of 7 swing states that are expected to be key in who wins the election.
We will have a free and fair, safe and secure election in Pennsylvania, and the will of the people will be respected and protected.
Both candidates are targeting Southern voters on Saturday. Harris has stops in North Carolina and Georgia, while Trump is also in the Tar Heel state, as well as Virginia. I'm Rick Damigella reporting.
The U.S. is boosting military support for Ukraine with a $425 million aid package announced by Secretary of State Attorney Blinken. This includes artillery, armored vehicles, and air defense systems from U.S. stocks. Blinken confirmed President Biden will fully utilize Congress authorized resources to aid Ukraine before his term ends, especially as North Korean troops may soon join Russia force. The high cost of housing has emerged as a top concern for many voters. As a result, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump have each offered plans on how to tackle the issue. Vice President Kamala Harris recently introduced a plan to lower housing costs, featuring down payment support, tax credits for first-time buyers, and a goal to build 3 million new housing units. She also proposed 2 rent reductions measured pending congressional approvals. Meanwhile, former President Trump has not released a housing plan, but blames undocumented immigrants for rising costs and suggestions banning them from obtaining mortgage. Next year, U.S. workers will be allowed to save a little more pre-tax earnings in their 401k retirement funds. On Friday, the IRS announced that the contribution limit for 2024 will rise to $23,500 and an increase of $500 from 2023. For individuals age 50 and older, the catch-up contribution limit remained at $7,500, except for those age 62-63, who can contribute an additional $11,250 or 150% of the standard catch-up limits. Despite these limits, most people do not contribute the maximum to their 401 plans. In 2023, only 14% maxed out their contribution. TGI Fridays filed for bankruptcy protection Saturday. In a statement, the executive chairman of the casual dining chain cited the pandemic as being the cause of their financial woes. The company says the bankruptcy only affects the chain's parent company and not the franchise. All restaurants will remain open, including the dozens that are cooperatively owned. The company says it will use the Chapter 11 process to explore strategic alternatives in order to ensure long-term viability of the chain. For more on today's news story, come to crossroadstoday.com. Don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Carolina Strawn and meteorologist Parker Cox will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise. You can submit a local military hero so we can recognize them.
And we see gathering clouds throughout the state of Texas, all moving from the south to the north. Thunderstorms developing in the western part of the state, some of those approaching severe limits. And this cold front here will be in our neighborhood coming up for next week. What will it do to our rain chance and temperatures? Well, I'll let you know coming up in the forecast. And good evening, everyone. Saturday evening here, and Troy Mining here, by the way. And seeing some cloud cover beginning to increase in the state of Texas here, especially here. This is a line of thunderstorms that's forming along a cold front that will be in our neighborhood. Not so much thunderstorms, really, but the cold front passing through, coming up for the early part of next week to give us a little bit of cool breath of fall air toward the middle part of the week. More on that momentarily. And you thought hurricane season was over? Nope. November is still a hurricane season month, and we have something to watch out here in the Caribbean Sea. There it is. It's a weak low pressure area in the far southern Caribbean Sea here. Give you a frame of reference. Here's the Yucatan Peninsula, Gulf up here, Central America. So it's way down here near Panama. And there's the coordinates on it if you're plotting it on your chart. It's very weak, of course, not much circulation associated with it. It's very disorganized, but has the potential to get better organized. And you follow the forecast model here, plots, taking maybe to the Gulf of Mexico once again, maybe near Florida yet again. Coming up for next week, we'll be watching it because I think that the front will move through and push this more to the east. Won't be so much of a problem for us. But once again, something to watch there in the tropics. We'll keep posting it for you and give you an idea of what it's doing as you go through time, of course. Take a look at the future tracker. And the front to the north, those are thunderstorms in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, making its way toward us as we head toward the first part of next week. By about Tuesday night, Monday night into Tuesday, should be a line of thunderstorms moving going through. Maybe some areas that seeing some heavier thunderstorms along this frontal zone boundary that pushes on in the Gulf of Mexico coming up for your day on Tuesday. So following this front will be some cooler temperatures. I think we'll see highs in the 70s coming up for about Tuesday to Wednesday or so. So definitely feeling a little bit more cooler by then. It is November. It's about time for that to happen. And so we're finally getting a little bit of breath of cooler air headed our way. Not so much tonight and tomorrow. Temperatures still in the 80s for highs, near 90 degrees. This is Cuero, by the way, with a few clouds in the morning time. Could be some patchy fog out there as well. And then with a little bit of a breeze toward the afternoon hours with sunny skies to continue. And no rain as of yet. May well, take that back, maybe a possible pop-up shower somewhere for your day tomorrow in and around the Crossroads region. So be mindful of that. Port Lavaca, partly cloudy skies, some morning cloud cover along the bay. And then partly cloudy skies throughout the rest of the day. High temperatures in the mid to upper 80s with southerly winds. A little bit gusty near 20 miles per hour. And in Victoria, planning your Sunday, partly cloudy skies with a few clouds in the afternoon in around the region. Maybe pop-up shower somewhere in the Crossroads region as well. More clouds in the morning time, a little bit patchy fog. Otherwise, keeping it warm and humid. Here's the temperature drop I'm talking about. Thunderstorm line pushing through in the early in the hours on your Tuesday. Following that, we'll have highs in the 70s. Look at that. Maybe some lows in the 50s coming up for your Wednesday morning. That's going to feel very nice. Warms up a little bit. Maybe a reinforcing surge coming in by about Thursday or Friday. Keep the temperatures near 80 degrees for the high coming up for Friday into Saturday. So looking good for football weather again on Friday night. And lows in the 50s and 60s and 70s throughout the entire forecast period. So getting a little bit more feeling like November weather heading toward the middle part of the week with some rainfall chances by then as well. So keep that in mind as you're making your plans. Take a look at this right here. This is the QR code you see there on your screen. Get your smartphone, scan the code you see right there. They'll take you to a web page. You can download our app, news, weather, and sports at your fingertips. Very easy, convenient, and free of charge to be connected with us. I see Ray over there with the sports.
Thank you, Trey. It's time for your CFL Week 10 recap, and we're also continuing the coverage with the Victoria Gators in action. So stay tuned for sports. Can you believe we are in week 10 of CFL football? I mean, it just seemed like yesterday. It was week 1. But we are now beginning to see playoff seedings and district championship games. So with all that being said, here's your week 10 recap. Let's start off your Friday night recap with the game of the week in the Calhoun Sand Crabs hosting the El Campo Ricebirds. Both teams are known for their outstanding rushing offense. It was El Campo to start things off hot, scoring first. Vladimir Garcia rushing it in for a 20-yard touchdown. This heat did not last long as the Sand Crabs answered back after a first and goal. Fullback Frank finishes the drive, but it was the Sand Crabs who proved to be the better team, winning the game. Final score 22-10. This win puts the Calhoun Sand Crabs in the driver's seat for a district championship game. Head coach Whitaker makes sure to keep his guys focused.
It's exciting. I'm so proud for our kids, proud of what they played. Senior night tonight at Sand Crab Stadium, possibly our last home game of the year, and I'm so proud of the way these kids fought tonight. Great football team in El Campo. This was a big win for our program, big win for the kids, and I'm just very proud of them.
Let's talk about some throwing action that was displayed in Cuero taking on Ingleside. They took over in the first half, winning the game. Final score 40-14. A team that had both a great throwing game and a rushing game was the undefeated Edna Cowboys hosting the Corpus Christi West Oso. This play sees junior running back Rylan Slusher finds his gap and runs it in for a touchdown. West Oso went scoreless in the game as Edna was able to put up 55. Edna is now a 9-0 team. They look to go into the playoffs undefeated. Luckily for you guys in Victoria, the CFL action didn't just end last night. We got some six-man football in the Victoria Gators taking on the Rams early on today. The home schools in battle that went all the way to the end. Both teams exchanging touchdown for touchdown. And the nail in the coffin should have been this play coming up right here as Luke Spearman gets a quick handoff and runs it in for a touchdown. That looks like about a 60-yard touchdown. But unfortunately, the Rams were able to answer back in under a minute, winning the game. Final score 31-37. Here's a word from Coach Williams and Luke himself.
I think this is our second game we've lost on the last play this year. So our record doesn't show how good we are, but yeah, kind of disappointed getting this loss today, but I'm glad, that we got to experience that because next week it's win or go home. And so
on that play, I was just thinking it was going to be a quick little dump, just maybe a few yards, get a first down maybe. I was not expecting to be able to turn into a big play like that. I just think that's just kind of how it goes, though. You always go play by play. I feel like with this loss, it's feeling me, and I know that it's going to be able to feel my teammates too.
Texas A&M with a lot to play for tonight, taking on South Carolina. The Aggies looking to make what some might say light work of the Gamecocks, but that was the furthest thing for the case. Lenoris had a 23-yard touchdown to take the lead, and unfortunately, A&M was not able to find their footing at all. The final score, 44-20. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to see where they'll land in the AP poll. Amaya?
Thank you so much, Ray, with the sports. Stay with us. Coming up today, we celebrate National Bison Day. Stay with us. Experience our digital streaming service Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscasts and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Search Crossroads Today Plus. Saturday is National Bison Day in honor of one of the world's most majestic animals. The iconic North American bison is the official mammal of the United States. It's also the largest land mammal in North America, with males weighing up to 2,000 pounds and standing up to 6 feet tall. Bisons populate all 50 states in the U.S. They live to be about 20 years old.
You know, I graduated from Oklahoma Centennial, and the bison was like one of our mascots, and I believe
That's
like,
your mascots?
Mm-hmm, yeah, the bison.
Oh, look at his look.
Go bison.
They're quite
They
amazing
look
animals.
very interested.
They're quite amazing animals.
They
I'll tell you
are.
what.
They're kind of big animals.
That's all they get.
I'm surprised at that. I thought they'd be longer than that living, but
But yeah.
you
with
never
the
know.
Fur, like, is it going to be with the weather? You know, is that
We need
needed?
some of that fur, not quite yet, but we're trying to get there, trust me. All right, we're seeing rainfall chances tomorrow, maybe an isolated rain shower or two in the afternoon somewhere. Better chances Monday night into Tuesday with the front coming through. Look at that, highs in the 70s coming up for Tuesday and Wednesday. Oh yeah, looking forward to that. Lows in the 50s for Wednesday morning. Feeling nice and a little cool feeling, warming up a little bit. Highs near 80 degrees toward the end of the week.
Y'all be safe out there on Tuesday, and thank you for being with us. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today Plus. Crossroads Today. Have a great night.